The New Orleans Pelicans just beat the Dallas Mavericks 113-106, winning a huge game. Going into tonight's game, the Pelicans were the 10 seed and the Mavericks were the 5 seed, only separated by 1 game in the loss column and 2 games in the winners column. Tonight was an awesome game. We saw a lot of injuries tonight, oddly enough, but McCollum really took over this game in the fourth quarter. We got a lot to talk about on both sides of the ball on both teams. But before we get into today's video, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for the recent support you guys have been showing on the videos. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers here, so if you're new here and want to support the channel and the channel's growth, I'd appreciate if you consider hitting that sub button. Without further ado, let's get straight into this video talking about the New Orleans Pelicans. First and foremost, I'd like to talk about Brandon Ingram. I have not gotten to watch a Pelicans game in a long time, and it is so fun to watch him operate. I said the same thing about Bradley Beal the other night, and it's just so true. His mid-range game, Brandon's, is just absolutely automatic. Unfortunately, tonight he hurt his right ankle halfway through the second quarter and did not return in this game. Before that, though, he had 12 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds, I believe it was. He was looking really good. One of the bright spots for the Pelicans in this early quarters. This game was kind of getting out of hand for both teams at one point, but obviously the Pelicans ended up taking this one away. Tonight we saw 5, almost 6 Pelicans in double digits. Najee Marshall finished with 9 points, and other than that, Jackson Hayes had 14, CJ had 32, Trey Murphy had 16, Brandon Ingram had 12, and Herb Jones finished with 14. One thing I want to say about Herb Jones, while his name is, kind of still here and floating around, it looks like sometimes he's scared to take three-pointers, and I understand that he's not the best three-point shooter. Tonight he went 0 for 4, and I'm actually happy in the second half he was letting him fly. But if you're the Pelicans, you're going to need him to develop into a three-point shooter, and an efficient one at that. I did see that during the All-Star break he was working a lot. While his teammates were in All-Star weekend and all these things, he was working very diligently, just trying to master his craft and get better shooting the ball. And I really do admire that, because once Zion comes back, they're going to need as many defensive floor spacers as they can. And obviously with Trey being such a good three-point shooter and CJ and Brandon Ingram all being very elite three-point shooters, it's just going to be really good when Herb comes around. Now let's talk about CJ McCollum. Tonight he absolutely torched the Mavs for 32 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds, and shot 6 for 8 from downtown, including 3 back-to-back triples with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. He actually scored 11 straight. Very entertaining on CJ's end of the game. It's so fun to watch a player like CJ operate, because for so long he's been the second option on a team, obviously the Portland Trailblazers, and even dating back to his college days, he was the follower and then he was the leader for a little bit. And now it's just really fun to watch him kind of perform as an underdog and under pressure. We've seen him be in charge of running the offense more than he's ever had to do in his career. So it was just really good tonight to watch them kind of go out and get this win under the wings of CJ. Tonight, another Pelican I want to shout out is Trey Murphy. He was letting that thing fly tonight, shot 3 for 5 from 3, grabbed 6 big rebounds, and had 2 blocks tonight, finished with 16 points. Very good game from Trey tonight, and he was kind of helping them keep this game out of reach for Dallas, if you will. It seemed like in the fourth quarter especially, Dallas kept cutting it to these 5-point leads. And with Brandon Ingram going out tonight, you needed someone to step up and score the ball other than CJ and Brandon, obviously. So it was just good that Trey was able to get 16 points. Najee Marshall had a pretty interesting game tonight. I really do love his game. Tonight he was pretty inefficient, but he still had 9 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds, and shot really efficient from the free throw when it mattered down the stretch. I did not see, this is my first game seeing Josh Richardson in a Pelicans jersey, and tonight he was not very efficient, but I won't hold that against him. Jackson Hayes had some really good baskets down the low. He actually did not miss a shot tonight and finished with 14 points, and you absolutely love to see that out of your up-and-coming bigs, just developing and getting better every single day. This was just a great team win for the Pelicans to defend the home court. Really big game if they want to stay in this play-in/playoff hunt. Not really much I want to say other than great game to Herb, great game to CJ, great game to Trey. Honestly, the Pelicans just played really good team basketball without their 2 best players in Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. Now, as for the Dallas Mavericks, tonight you saw Luka Doncic clearly facing a ton of injury woes with that thigh and that hamstring. It seemed like, I believe Doris Burke was saying something along the lines of he had tweaked a muscle in his left thigh, and that's what it was, but it was a non-contact injury, which is very interesting. Tonight, Luka finished with 15 points and 8 assists and shot 4 for 14 from the field and 1 for 5 from 3 in only 28 minutes. And they were definitely seeing that. It seems like this Dallas Mavericks team plays as good as their best player does, if that makes sense. Because when Luka Doncic was out there on the floor trying to perform tonight and shooting very efficiently and inefficiently, I believe is the right way to say that, and kind of just trying to perform through his injury woes, the Dallas Mavericks started the second quarter 1 for 7 and got outscored 13-2. And then not only that, but the Mavericks started this game 3 for 19 from 3 in the first 3 quarters. Absolutely terrible until the fourth quarter, when they ended up going 6 for 8 to start that fourth quarter, and 5 of those threes came within a 3-minute span. They were absolutely kind of going 1 for 1, shot for shot with the Pelicans. The last quarter of this game was incredibly entertaining. Tonight we saw the Mavericks without Reggie Bullock and without Maxi Kleber, so Tim Hardaway Jr. and I believe it was Dwight Powell and Josh Green got the starts in front of them. And that was very interesting. Obviously, you guys know that I like when Josh Green's starting. Tim Hardaway Jr. had a pretty good game tonight. I think he had 5 threes or something along the lines of that. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Jaden Hardy. He caught an absolute body on Jackson Hayes. You guys are probably going to see that all over social media. Crazy dunk, 6'4" on 7-foot crime. Definitely really fun to just see them kind of, elevate and make those big plays. One thing that was interesting tonight is that Luka picked up what was thought to be his 16th technical foul and was going to receive a 1-game suspension, but they looked at it and apparently one of his technicals from back in December got revoked, so I guess he's in the clear for now. But Luka definitely needs to stop complaining and haggling with the refs. You can't change the past, you can't change the mind unless you're throwing a challenge, so let's just try to not do that going forward. I do really respect the grit that he has trying to play through his injuries. Last 2 things I want to say about the Dallas Mavericks. The Latvian laser Davis Bertans tonight did pretty good. He only played 14 minutes, but he had 2 really big threes down the stretch of this game when there was only 3 or 4 minutes left in that fourth quarter. I think he hit back-to-back threes it was. Second thing I want to say, Christian Wood needs to be a starter on this team. Tonight he finished with 15 points and grabbed 8 rebounds. I just don't really understand what's holding Jason Kidd back. It's not like he can't score in starting units or he can't be a successor in the starting units, because I see him literally scoring on opposing starting big men, and he scores in these crazy spurts. Like, he comes in and scores 9 straight points, and then he gets benched for 20 straight minutes. Like, I just don't... I don't know. I don't really understand that. And if you're a Mavs fan and know a little bit more about that than me, I would love if you would let me know in the comments below. But yeah, that's all I really got from the Mavs. Kyrie, pretty typical, Kyrie Irving night, 27 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. Not really much I want to say. He tried to bring this team back. He scored, I think, 10 points in the fourth quarter. And he had a pretty solid night overall. But without your star duo, Luka Doncic, you guys fought as hard as you could. You had a pretty solid third quarter, but in that second quarter, it's just one of those ones. You get outscored 35-19. It's just really hard to play catch up. In the fourth quarter, you outscored them 41-30, and you did a really good job of trying to make this a close game, and it was a very entertaining game. But you guys just did not shoot efficiently from the free throw line or from the 3 tonight, whereas the Pelicans did both. I mean, they almost shot 50%. They shot literally 50, almost 50, 90 tonight. So it's just really hard to compete with a team that's on it, especially without their 2-star players. But that's all I got for this video, guys. Another really great game, another really great slate. If you guys can stay up and check out this Raptors-Clippers game, I'm sure that's going to be a really good one. I myself am not. I'm probably going to go to bed right after I edit this. But if you made it this far, I appreciate your support as always. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay happy, healthy, and blessed. Peace.